This episode of the podcast is brought to you by The Urban Lounge, located at 241 South, 500 East, right in downtown Salt Lake City. Head on over to their website, theurbanloungeslc.com, connect with them on Twitter and Facebook, and find out about all of the upcoming shows.
My name is Matt Allred, and I'm from J-Bones Clothing, and this is I Am Salt Lake podcast.
Showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people making Salt Lake City what it is today. It's time for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the I Am Salt Lake podcast, episode 117. My name is Chris Hollifield. Welcome to my show. Welcome to the podcast all about Salt Lake City. The website for the podcast is iamsaltlake.com. You can head on over to the website. Got links for iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Mediocre Radio Network. All of the links are right there, so you can listen to all the previous episodes of the podcast as well, directly online. Suggest you take some time and get to know some of the people in this beautiful city and find out what their story is and what makes them tick. I appreciate everybody, the new listeners, the old listeners. You guys are all great. Give me a follow on Twitter, I Am Salt Lake. Try to keep you guys up to date on things going on in and around Salt Lake City. I appreciate the retweets, the tweets. If you like any of the guests on the show, make sure you're following them on Twitter. And let's just everybody get connected. Hey, this episode I sat down with another local stand-up comedian, Melissa Merlot. She's been involved in the local stand-up scene for quite a few years. She just actually recently won the 2013 Arty Award for stand-up comedy, as well as she's part of a few local podcasts as well. I'm going to put all of those links at iamsaltlake.com/117. That way you can connect with her and find out when she's going to be doing some stand-up next. Highly suggest you go check her out. Really great person, great stand-up comic, and doing some really cool things here in Salt Lake City. So with that being said, why don't you guys join me now as I talk to Melissa Merlot as she came over to my apartment here in downtown Salt Lake City. Melissa Merlot.
Hello.
Yeah. So, finally got a chance to sit down with you. Like I mentioned in the message, you've been kind of one I've been wanting to, chat with for a while. But, there's so many people in Salt Lake.
There really are.
And so to get everybody on the show, to get everybody on the podcast, it's been a struggle,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Without leaving anybody out. 2013 Arty.
I
winner
know.
For best stand-up comedian. How did that make you feel?
So honored.
I mean, were you expecting that?
No, not at all. It was completely unexpected. I woke up and I was really looking forward to see who actually won, but I really didn't think it would be me. And then I woke up and my phone was just blowing up with people who had been to the website. They're like, you won. And I was like, oh my God, no way. So it was really, really cool.
Was that your first award? I mean,
did you first award ever for comedy. Yep.
And I mean, you were kind of up against some other big names.
Oh yeah, hilarious. I mean, I love the two guys I was up against, and that was kind of a good thing, because that way I knew, if I didn't win, I wouldn't be disappointed because they're two of my favorites. Jay Whitaker and Christian Piper. They're both hilarious, and I don't know, all three of us kind of had the same attitude. We were all just so excited to be nominated, and get our name on the actual ballot. You know what I mean?
So did you get like a little plaque and everything?
I will be getting one.
You will be getting...
I have not received my plaque yet. But I will
cool.
be posting lots of pictures of it when I do.
I hope you do.
I will.
And then next year you can win another Arty.
That's right.
For it. So,
yeah, this is the first of many awards, I'm sure.
So let's actually back up a little bit. I kind of like to when I have, comedians, local comedians on the podcast, I kind of like to find out their story a little bit, like kind of what got them into comedy, how long you've been doing it. How long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
I tell people 5 years, but it's really been about 7 or 8 years.
So why don't you tell people 7 or 8 then?
I don't know. 5's just a good number. I like to round, make it a multiple of 5. When I get to 10, I'll say 10.
And then
15,
maybe people
and then 20.
won't expect as much out of you.
I think that's why I like to keep the expectations very low.
So when was the first time you got behind the microphone?
The first time I got behind the microphone was at Wise Guys in West Valley. They were doing the open mic out there back then. And it was in think 2005, probably. And I was super, super nervous. And
that's what I hear from everybody.
oh my gosh. And I didn't let anybody go with me. Like even my boyfriend at the time, we were living together and I was like, no, you can't go. You can't go. Cause it was something I had always wanted to try, you know? And I felt like, I have to try it. I have to try it. And if I go and it sucks and I'm terrible, then there will be no witnesses, you know, of people who actually know me and I'll never have to do it again. But I just have to go and try it, you know? And so I went out there. And I sat all by myself. So, of course, the comedians were picking on me because they're like, oh, the girl in the front row is sitting alone, you know? So then when I went up, I was really funny and everybody liked me and people were laughing at me. And I just loved it. I just loved it. And so then.
So you got some good responses.
Yeah, I got some great responses on the first time. And so I was instantly hooked. And then the second time I took some of my coworkers and my boyfriend and stuff. And the second time I was terrible.
Because do you think it was because they were there and you were nervous?
I think that was part of it. I think that made me a little extra nervous because it was, you know, people who actually knew me, not like a room full of strangers. But then I continued to, it was like hit or miss for the first few times, you know, because it's like kind of nerve wracking when you start out.
Were there a lot of, I mean, there's really not a lot of female comics in Salt Lake still to this day. I mean, there's a few.
There's a few that pop up.
But back then there probably wasn't much of any.
No, I don't think there were. There was one other girl that I kind of became friends with, but then she stopped going. Like, it's kind of sporadic for the girls. Like, they'll come out for a while and then they'll disappear and then they'll come back. So
I
don't know.
Do you think they get intimidated by the men?
I don't think so.
I mean, do you get intimidated by the male comics? I mean,
not at all.
I mean,
I think they might just not see it as. I think they just might not be as devoted to doing it. They have other priorities or something. I mean, same with like a lot of the guy comics. They'll show up and then disappear for a while, then come back.
At what point did you decide, okay, I want to get a little serious about this? Or have you even gotten at that point yet? I mean, it seems like
I kind of have to. I want an award.
Yeah, you want an award. I mean, you're kind of a big deal.
I was so excited when I won, and then I was like, shit just got real.
Yeah, no, I could.
I can't just get plastered and get on the stage anymore.
I could imagine. I could imagine. I mean,
of course, not that I've ever just gotten plastered and got on the stage. I'm a professional. I just get a little buzz going.
Have you ever gotten on stage sober?
Sober?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. Unfortunately.
Is it easier to get on stage after a few drinks?
I like to say it is, just because, you know, it calms your nerves, but a lot of times I don't like drinking at all before I go on stage because it affects my memory, and I don't like going on stage with like notes or anything, so I just try to remember everything. And so I try to drink after I get off the stage, but that doesn't always happen.
It would probably be tough because it's like you pound a bunch of shots, halfway through your set, boom, it hits you, and you're just like, holy hell, exactly. I am messed up. And then you barely remember your set, and you're wondering if you bombed it or not. You know?
There was one comedian who get really drunk all the time and then slur really bad in the microphone when they get on stage. And I thought that was pretty funny. And so I was like, oh, I can't get too drunk or else I'll start. But I kind of already do that sober.
Yeah. So, I mean, did you grow up, enjoying comedy as a young child?
Yeah.
I mean, is that kind of what led you even up to wanting to do stand-up comedy or like?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what led me up to wanting to do it.
Who were you listening to? Who were you enjoying?
Well, I grew up with cable, and so I watched
one of the rich people with the cable.
Yeah, one of the rich people. So I watched a lot of Evening at the Improv, and like MTV had a stand-up comedy show at the time, and so I just watched a lot of stand-up when I was younger, and I never really thought about trying it until until I was like 29. Give away my age, I don't care. But then I really wanted to try it, and I got into improv, like improv workshops and stuff, but I hated improv. It didn't work for me at all. It was just, there's so many people on stage and you have to do these games, and like it just did not click with me. But one of the guys in the improv workshop was also doing stand-up. So he's the one who told me about Wise Guys, and I really didn't think there was anywhere here at the time to do stand up, you know?
Yeah.
And so he gave me free passes. And so I went out because of him. And I just loved it.
Who were you listening to? Who were some of your favorite comedians?
I always liked
early-
Dennis Leary. Like, I had his No Cure for Cancer, and I listened to that like repeatedly.
Because I'm always curious, like
Adam Sandler.
Everybody kind of has their different, the clean comics, the raunchy comics. It's kind of like, well, who does Melissa?
Eddie Izzard's one of my favorites. I adore Eddie Izzard. Doug Stanhope, who I got to open for, is probably
he's a brilliant comedian.
My favorite touring. Yeah, he's amazing.
Was he? I heard he was signing. Was it Bibles or Book of Mormons or something? When
it was Bibles.
Was it Bibles? When I heard that, I was just like, "That is brilliant."
He's brilliant. He is, and I liked Bill Hicks, and
well, who didn't like Bill
exactly?
Hicks, right?
That's kind of everybody. Patton Oswalt is one of my favorites. I was trying to think. There's so many.
I was
a big fan of sketch shows too, like Mr. Show on HBO. That was really awesome.
Is your family pretty supportive? I mean,
yes.
of your comedy? I mean,
they're extremely supportive of my comedy.
Were they supportive in the beginning though?
Yeah.
Or did they be just like, oh my gosh, this is another crazy thing that Melissa's doing? What is she doing again?
Well, my family is pretty into the arts.
Yeah.
So this is not weird for me to be doing stand-up.
No, into the arts in what way?
Well, my mom was a ballet dancer, and my dad always built sets and like painted sets, and he's a painter and a writer, and so real creative type. So
like what does he write? Like what? Like
fiction.
Write?
Like
so is he an author? Really? Like a published author?
Bob Hawks. Yes, you can. Books are available, I think, on Amazon.
Really?
Yeah.
Right? Does he live right here in Salt Lake? Really? I might have to chit chat with him down the road.
Yeah, you should. That would be great.
So, what kind of books does he write?
He writes fiction. They're kind of, I don't want to say ghost stories, but it usually has to deal with something paranormal.
Really?
Yeah. And he's writing a book now. He was in Vietnam, so he's writing a book now that's kind of more war oriented. So I think that'll be really cool.
Have you thought about writing a book?
I did write a book.
Did you? Okay, well, there we go. You wrote. I guess I need to do my research a little bit.
No, that's okay. It's not comedy, though. It's a poetry book.
Did you?
Yeah, I wrote it in 2006. It's called Firewalk, and it's available on barnesandnoble.com. And I got to get copies of it because I want to start giving them out.
Firewalk,
yeah.
Okay.
It's like inspirational poetry, and it's all...
And you're rolling in the money from it.
Yeah, obviously, right?
Yeah.
It's all human emotions compared to nature. So stuff like that.
But it's not funny at all.
No, it's not funny at all. I thought about because I did poetry before comedy.
So
that's where Melissa Merlot comes from.
Okay.
It's a stage name.
Well, no, I figured as much. And especially the Cobra part now that
on Facebook.
You've added on Facebook. I go, that's not real. I'm sure.
Melissa Cobra Merlot, that kind of.
But how cool would that be if somebody's middle name was Cobra?
I know, that's why I did it.
Yeah, well.
And that also gives me the initials of MC Merlot, which is awesome for like hosting, being the MC. So I thought it'd be funny.
So you used to get up and do like poetry readings?
Yeah.
Like at coffee shops?
Yeah.
You were one of those people?
Yeah, I was one of those people. I worked at Barnes & Noble for 6 years, so I love books.
I worked at Barnes & Noble's.
Books. You did? Good
when I lived out east, I just part-time.
Yeah.
More to get the discount on books.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I never brought home any money.
That was kind of the reason behind that. Great job, though.
Oh, it's so nice. Yeah.
But
books are great.
Anyways, so have you thought about writing like a comedy book at all? I mean, do you enjoy writing?
Yeah.
I mean, do you do a blog at all?
I do enjoy writing. I haven't really thought about writing a comedy book just because I like poetry because I like the same thing for like writing jokes. I like everything kind of short and condensed, and like straight to the point. Like, I don't think I could write fiction of like a giant novel or anything like that.
You still write poetry
now? ADD. Yes, I do still write poetry. I don't, not in book form though. That was why I wanted, because I was kind of giving up on like
what other kind
poetry
of form
readings.
Is there if there's not book form? Like just on napkins or something?
Yeah, blogs, people write poetry blogs or put it on your website or stuff like that. But I thought about blending comedy and trying to write funny poems and then going on stage and doing them. And I'm just like, oh, this is a terrible idea. And it was really funny when I first started because I was going to do that. Like I was actually writing, poems that I thought would work on stage as a joke. And I had this way of teasing some of my friends. Like after they'd go on a date with a guy, I'd be like, oh, did he stick his Butterfinger in your Milky Way? Like I'd word everything like a candy bar, like,
yeah.
And so I wrote this whole naughty poem about candy bars. And then I read it and I was like, I can't do this on stage. This is just too silly. And then a couple months later, I was at an open mic and another comedian did a poem exactly like that about candy bars.
And you were like, oh, shit, I should have done it.
No, it didn't go over well. So I was like, I made the right choice.
You were like, okay, thank you. I made the, yeah.
Yeah, it was like confirmation. It was just so funny that it was so similar. I was like, no way.
So besides winning the Arty, the 2013 Arty, what's been like some of your, the most rewarding thing for yourself doing stand-up comedy?
This sounds so silly, but just doing stand-up comedy is the rewarding thing. It's great to be on the stage and make people laugh. I don't really have goals win a Grammy or anything like that. It's like, I just want to do it.
You're just enjoying the ride right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why I've always been around so much, is because I just want to do it and I can't really stop doing it. Like sometimes people will be like, oh, are you still doing comedy? It's like, duh, it's like, it's just part of me now. It's never going away,
Do you feel like, I talk to a lot of comics on the podcast and they feel they don't get enough stage time in Salt Lake. Do you find that to be true?
There's
or mic time, I guess would be the better terminology.
Yeah. It's nice to get a lot of stage time, but it's kind of hard to get the stage time that you want, I think, because we all want giant rooms filled with people. You know what I mean? That's what every comedian wants, is just tons and tons of audience. But I think it's just really hard here because all the shows I do are bar shows and in clubs and stuff. And so it's so hit or miss. Sometimes you'll have just a huge packed house, and other times it'll be 12 people or something. So it's just really hard. There is a lot of stage time you can get here. It's just not necessarily the kind of
your ideal.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you prefer, a larger crowd or smaller crowd?
Even though I play a lot of smaller crowds, I actually prefer larger crowds because
why is that?
I don't know. I get nervous when there's not as many people there. If it's a big crowd, it's kind of easier to talk to them for some reason. But
because you can find that one person in the maybe the room that you can relate with or that understands you. Or
I don't know. It's just it's just kind of throwing it out there. When it's a big crowd, and when it's smaller, you feel more like. But it's good to play the smaller crowds because it kind of challenges you to try and get all of their attention, because it's in a big room, there's no way, because they're just, a lot of them are going to listen to you and a lot of them might be thinking something else and not paying attention. But a small room, it's kind of you have to dominate the audience.
Have you ever offended anybody in your crowd? Like really, really offended somebody?
Not too bad, I don't think. Or at least I think... They didn't tell me if I did. It was funny. I was doing a show in Park City, and I had this joke about. I think it's really cute. I'll briefly explain it. I won't go into it. But when I was little, in third grade, my mom was a ballet teacher, right? So I knew what gay people were because I was around a lot of them when I was little. And my parents taught me that it's totally normal and totally natural because it is, And so I knew what homosexuals were. And in third grade, we were talking about reasons the dinosaurs became extinct. And the teacher said, well, one of the reasons people think the dinosaurs became extinct was because all the female dinosaurs died off, so they couldn't reproduce, right? But as third grade, I didn't really understand how babies were made and that they could only come out of women. I just thought it was when two people were in love, they made a baby. So I raised my hand and I asked, what about the homosexual dinosaurs? Because I thought they could, make a baby. And the teacher just turned bright red. And I was the only non-Mormon in my elementary school, so they're like, all my other classmates are like, what's a homosexual? But anyway, so I told this joke at a show in Park City And the comedian I was opening for really prides himself on being super, super liberal, you know?
Yeah.
And then after the show, people were talking to us in the front of the theater. And this one lady, I've overheard her talking to him, and she's like, I can handle how liberal you are, but that redhead girl, she's just too much. And it's because she didn't like my homosexual dinosaurs joke. But I do end it with, that's actually why the dinosaurs became extinct, was because they wouldn't allow the homosexual dinosaurs to get married. So people have to allow homosexual people to get married, or else we'll be extinct too. So
No, I love it.
I think she didn't like that.
That's great, though. That's great.
It was too liberal.
Have you performed outside of Utah at all? Mm-hmm. Where
I have performed in California, but again, all open mics. I was at the Comedy Store, but it was an open mic night. I'm not going to gloat and be like, I was, headlining the Comedy Store.
was it different? I mean, going to California, like the crowd, like the first time, outside of Utah, you're used to the crowd here, and then you go out of state. I mean, what was different? Maybe?
It was pretty much the same type of crowd. It was really fun. They were the first show I did in California. They were really into it, and then they really wanted to know about polygamous. And so
everybody wants to know about that, right? Outside of Utah.
And I thought that was so fun because they just kept asking me about polygamous, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" Yeah, it's
and
like
what'd you tell them? Did you make up a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, I was like, I escaped, and they still haven't caught me. That's why my name's Merlot. I'm in disguise, and like all this stuff because it's just funny. People hear Utah and they think crazy Mormon stuff.
And all they know is based
polygamous.
off of like Big Love.
Yeah, totally.
And the TV shows that portray Utah, do you have
as being
paved
weird
roads there?
Yeah, totally. Like we ride around in wagons and stuff here.
Would you like to tour more? Would you like to get out of Utah more? I would love to tour more.
I think that would be really fun. I mean,
so what's stopping you?
Money.
Well, gosh, money gets in the way of
it really gets in the way of everything. Like, and there's I don't know.
Well, you're going to school now too, right?
I am in school, and I have a full-time day job, and so
it's hard to to get out there and keep yourself going.
Yeah,
when you got all that on your plate. What are you studying in school? If you don't mind me asking.
No, I don't mind you asking at all. Hospitality management. That's what I'm studying in school.
Hospitality.
Doesn't that sound great?
What do you do with something like that?
I want to work in a hotel, preferably in Las Vegas, so I can be where it's warm. Not that I don't love Utah.
You want to live in Las Vegas?
Yes.
Really?
Or anywhere warm.
No, I hear you. I'm
turning into such a wuss.
I'm not looking forward
as I get older. I'm like, brr.
So you're not looking forward to winter either?
No.
Yeah. You're not a ski bunny, ski bum?
No. I've been skiing. I do think it's really fun. I just, no.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Not your thing.
No.
Hey, so you do a podcast as well as you are part of a few podcasts.
Yes.
Let's talk about those for a little bit, actually.
Sure.
What podcasts are you part of or co-host with or whatever terminology?
Sure. The Awkward Hour, which because you've been on.
Brian
Staker's Awkward Hour.
Great guy.
Yeah, lots of fun.
How did that come about? Let's start.
Oh, yeah. We didn't really know each other. We had a mutual friend, and Brian was looking for a female co-host. He wanted somebody like Robin from the Howard Stern show, who just like cracks up and stuff like that. So he thought, a female comedian would be good. And he'd been doing Awkward Hour for like 5 years now.
Yeah, no, some ridiculous amount of time.
And he was moving it to Utah FM. So he wanted to add me when he started the show on Utah FM. So I met with him and we just like instantly clicked. And then we started doing the show together at Utah FM, and that was it. And we became great friends. And
Are you still doing stuff with him?
I still do. He does it. He's not on Utah FM anymore. He's kind of like, Rome reporter.
Yeah.
He does it from his place or whoever he's going to interview. But yeah, we're going to go interview somebody in Bountiful. I can't remember who on Monday.
He needs to get it. The only thing I like his show. I just wish it was in audio form so I could listen to it later,
I told him that too, because I'm like, just put it on iTunes, because before he moved it to Utah FM, he was uploading them all to iTunes, and it's just so easy to listen to it that way.
Well,
you know,
and then you can kind of go back through a back catalog.
Yeah, totally.
And check it all out, and if you miss it or something, because I know he streams it live.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a cool feature.
That's cool.
I've thought about doing that, but then I'm like, what if I don't look pretty that day or something,
Brian doesn't care. He just wants the camera on him all the time.
Yeah.
It's funny how vain he is. I tease him about it. Like, people would be watching and they'd be like, put the camera on Melissa. And he'd put it on me for 5 seconds, and then it'd have to go right back to Brian. He loves being on camera.
Oh, Brian's a great guy.
Yeah, you can watch all of his on Ustream too. Like when he...
So you can go back.
Yeah, you can go back and watch the visual and the audio on Ustream under the Awkward Hour. But yeah, just having the audio though on iTunes makes it super easy.
Yeah.
And I think that's how a lot of people listen, obviously podcasts. So
in the Left Show.
Left Show, yes. I'm a co-host on the Left Show too. Liberal.
Yeah.
More liberal stuff.
Do you get very funny? I mean, I haven't really listened to too much of that podcast.
It's really funny. Like, we had those guys on the Awkward Hour, and then they invited me to come out and be on a show, and I was actually kind of worried about it because I'm not, I don't know.
You're not, are you a political person?
No, not at all. I'm a conspiracy person. I love any kind of conspiracy. That's my podcast, is conspiracy theories. But I don't know, the run-of-the-mill type politics. So I went out there and I was just like, but they are really fun and they explain everything. And I don't know, it's a lot of fun. That show is really fun. There's like 3 guys and then me.
and that's a once a week podcast, right? And are you pretty much on every episode?
No, I was doing every other
episode.
And they have a lot of different rotating people that come through and fill in and stuff. I think they even had Carrie Jackson on from X96.
Cool.
So,
yeah. I'll say in the Left Show, and I'm pretty sure that's on iTunes.
Yeah, they're on iTunes. Leftshow.com.
And then you do a podcast, but you haven't done one for a minute.
I haven't done one.
Why not?
I've only done 4.
4 episodes? Come on.
Way to drop the ball, Melissa.
Is it that hard?
No, it's not. It's not. Well, I mean, you have nice equipment.
No, well,
it is pretty hard. It is pretty hard to do a podcast.
And what's the premise of your podcast? What?
Conspiracy theories, but it's a comedy version of it. So it's like not necessarily proving them or saying they're real or anything. It's just like discussion. So I only did 4 because it was just me. And then I wanted to get guests, but I didn't really have it set up in my apartment where I could like bring in guests. It sounds kind of silly. I only have one microphone. And so like I didn't really.
Another microphone.
I know. But I didn't put any effort into doing that.
But it is tough when you're not making any money from it.
Yeah,
to invest the money into it.
Exactly.
And then you're like, is anybody going to listen to it? Is anybody going to really like it?
Yeah.
But I think as a comedian, it's good. I mean, even just to get
it's really
your
good
own,
to be on podcasts.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, promotion and to get your name out there. And people. Do you listen to a lot of podcasts? No. I
listen to like people I know's podcasts, like yours, like the Left Show, like the ones I'm on. But I don't really listen to a whole lot of other ones.
You listen to a lot of music?
I do listen to a lot of music.
What are some of your favorite bands?
I like
a little bit about Melissa.
I like every kind of music. Prince is my all-time favorite.
Nice.
Like 9 Inch Nails.
What do you think of the new 9 Inch Nails?
I really like it. I think it's
not
good.
Bad. It's actually pretty decent.
Yeah. I don't know. I like everything. All kinds of music.
Do you go to a lot of like local concerts and stuff?
No. I used to go to a ton of concerts. I just don't anymore.
Did you go to any of the Twilight over the summer?
No, I didn't go to any of the Twilight over the summer. Gosh, I know. I never get out of the house.
Just home studying a lot or what?
Yeah.
Or are you just kind of a homebody?
When I have a comedy show and that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't even go to movies. I can't remember the last movie I saw. Movies are my favorite too.
Like at the theater?
Yeah.
What, are you watching at home a lot, I guess, now? What, Netflix, Hulu, stuff like that?
It's access to everything with those. It's so nice.
What's your all-time favorite movie?
have you ever seen Kids in the Hall Brain Candy?
A long time ago.
So good.
Yeah, that is really good.
Probably my all-time. That's my all-time favorite comedy. My favorite non-comedy is Dark City, which is a really amazing film. Everyone should see it. Love that movie.
So did you grow up here in Utah then?
Yes, I did.
And you mentioned non-Mormon.
Non-Mormon.
Was that tough?
Yes, it was.
what was the toughest thing about that? Your whole life, your parents, nobody non-Mormon, right?
No, my dad grew up Catholic and pretty much like left the church, moved away from the church. And my mom grew up Mormon and left the church, moved away from the church. So they were both kind of free thinkers, So it was just kind of.
And was this at a young age though? This was at a young age for you or about how old were you?
Oh, they were already done with like church when I was born.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that's
it
what
was
I mean.
my whole life.
Yeah.
And then,
what was the hard? that especially that many. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, it was.
I'm not trying to say you're old, but
it was back. That's a reason I knew about the homosexual dinosaurs.
Well, no, that's
back in my day.
That's what intrigued me because you mentioned non-Mormon, third grade. Was it tough making friends?
It wasn't tough for me making friends, but I did have a lot of like, oh, don't play with her, she's not Mormon, that I kind of overheard or something. And of course, I was like the only redhead too, so that made me satanic somehow.
Oh, you're blaming it on your hair
and then
color.
I was, because I was red. And then it was funny because when I was little, I was terrified of vampires. Like I thought they were coming to get me in the night, just terrified. And so my parents gave me crosses to wear,
For real?
Yeah, crucifix things. Yeah, so the vampires couldn't get me. I believed it.
I thought garlic was what.
I know, well, garlic crosses. And so I wore them to school, all the time. But then I didn't realize that there's something about Mormons that they don't like crosses too. And so then they were like, oh, she worships the devil. And like, I don't know. I had a really strong family and a really like most of my friends were really cool, so it really didn't affect me too much. But then when I was older, I worked in a coffee shop and a girl worked there who went to my same elementary school, and she was also non-Mormon, but she went to that elementary school in like 6th grade and I'd been there the whole time,
Oh.
And she was like, I can't believe you went there. That was the worst school. And I was like, what's wrong? And she's like, I got called a devil worshiper in 6th grade. And I was like, I got called a devil worshiper in 2nd grade. But it really affected her.
So people, kids or adults called you a devil?
Mm-hmm. No, kids did. Yeah. But you know where they got it from.
Well,
kids don't just come up with that on their own. They got it from their parents. But I kind of liked it because in the neighborhood, since everybody was Mormon, everybody knew each other, and everybody knew me and my family because we were the non-Mormons, so it was like, I don't know. It had its benefits. At the same time, it was kind of made me an outcast and isolated, but I don't know. Now that I'm older, I see that as a plus. I don't really see that as a minus.
I think things have changed a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, they totally
Salt
have.
Lake
They totally
especially.
have.
We've progressed. Non-Mormons can hang out with Mormons now and not feel like it's the end of the world.
It's way different.
I'm sure growing up, you wanted to move away. You were like, I can't wait to get out of Salt Lake, or I can't wait to get out of Utah. Was that the case for you? I think it was pretty typical for most teenagers.
Yeah.
Especially in Salt Lake.
Yeah, Salt Lake can seem kind of limiting. One thing I do want to say about all of my Mormon friends, though, when I was in elementary school, Mormons have a tendency to be hoarders.
They still are. They still are.
Some things will never change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I remember when I was little, all my friends' houses that I go over and play at, it was all hoarder. Just they make us play little paths. They put us in the basement. And you couldn't even walk. There'd just be stuff everywhere. Just
or you weren't allowed to go into so-and-so's house.
Yeah. Because it was just too. And so it was funny because my mom, who grew up Mormon, was a hoarder, and my dad.
Is she still a hoarder?
No. And my dad is a minimalist, so they had this constant clash, right? So we had one room in the basement that was the hoard room, they confined it to one room, and I just remember being little and being really scared of that room.
Why do you think they lean towards hoardism?
I don't know, but like growing up, I always thought it was normal. I thought that's like how everybody's house was. Like even if you couldn't see it, there was one room. Like how my house was. There was one room somewhere that was just filled with crap. I don't know why they do it. I think they have that end of the world, how they always have to have the pantry of like food and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so I think it might come from that. I don't know.
But they hoard such weird things. Like I met a hoarder once that had like 400 pillowcases.
Yeah,
or something
like
bizarre like that.
Why would you ever need that?
It's safe to say you're not a hoarder.
No, I'm not a hoarder at all. I take after my dad. I'm a total minimalist. I get freaked out when there's too much stuff around. I can't deal with clutter, but that's why it fascinates me so much, because it's just so outside of my realm.
So it's safe to say you watch the show Hoarders.
Oh, I love Hoarders.
Isn't that a great show?
This is my favorite show. They just canceled it.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that the other day. I was like, I wonder if they got any new episodes of Hoarders out there, because it always prompts me to clean afterwards.
That's what it does to me too.
I'm like, okay, after I'm done watching it,
motivation.
It's
You're
like,
oh
okay,
my God.
I got to throw all this shit out of my apartment or house or whatever.
I can't deal with this.
Yeah, have I used this in 20 years? No, okay, I don't need this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, it's a good motivator for sure.
No, it's funny. No one's ever brought up the hoarding problems here in Utah. I think that's why garage sales are so popular.
Oh my
here.
God, we do have the best garage sales.
You know what
in
I mean?
Utah.
It's like, okay, let's just go snag all this. We need more
Absolutely.
But it is a bit ridiculous. So besides hoarding, what are some of your other what do you like about living in Salt Lake? I always ask this of everybody that comes on the show. I really
do like, even though I'm whining about it going to get cold soon, I really like the weather here. I love all our surroundings. It's gorgeous. We can be up Mill Creek Canyon in like 10 minutes, and all the nature in Utah is wonderful. And I don't know, everything here is pretty easy. Like traffic's never bad, You don't have to worry a whole lot about crime. I got really drunk at the bar last night and left my car in the parking lot, and it was fine today.
Well, yeah, you'd go back to some places and your car would be up on cinder blocks with its tires
or at
missing.
least the window would be broken or something. Yeah. But nope, it was just sitting there. It was fine. So I don't know. It's pretty nice.
What do you think? What do you think about the bar scene here? The nightlife in Salt Lake. Do you have any gripes about it, or wish? It's pretty. It's there.
It's there.
Yeah. I don't know what it.
Like I said, I don't go out much unless I'm doing a comedy show.
Does the bar scene or alcohol, does that bother you? I hear that from a lot of people. I'm just curious your thoughts.
No, it doesn't bother me. I was a bartender for years. So
where'd you bartend at?
I was at the Embassy Suites Hotel. Huh. Now it's the DoubleTree. This is why I want to go back to working in hotels, because I miss it. But I don't know. It kind of bothered me more when I was bartender, just because I didn't want to explain it to people.
Did you have to explain it?
Oh yeah, and of course it was a hotel, so everybody's from out of state, Yeah. So you have to go as just a nightmare. But I don't know. I haven't really had any problems. Like,
if you want to get drunk, you can get drunk.
Yeah, that's all I care about.
Obviously, you got drunk last night.
Did it last night. Yeah. Great drinks. Didn't spend a lot of money either. Like, I don't know. Where there's a will, there's a way, Like, I'm glad they got rid of the private club thing, because that was a bit kind of silly. But now I think it's pretty normal. I don't know.
Yeah, we have a pretty good nightlife, I think.
Yeah.
Downtown.
For sure. Especially downtown. So.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite local eating spots? Do you have any favorite local
Lucky 13
eateries?
That's one of my favorites. Right by the ballpark.
Do you have a favorite burger from there?
Oh my gosh, I love all their burgers.
All the burgers are great.
Yes.
Have you tried any of their alligator burgers?
No. I want to, though, or like their emu.
Yeah.
They have the weirdest stuff sometimes. Yeah. No, I haven't tried any of it. The only special I've had there it's not even strange, but bison burger. I love bison meat.
Is that pretty good?
Oh my gosh, it's the best. Anytime you can get a bison burger, do it. It's so good.
What would you compare it? Is it just a fresher?
Yeah, it's like just the best tasting meat in the world.
It's hard we're sitting here discussing meat.
I love buffalo.
You love buffalo. Any other favorite places, recommendations? I'm always even looking for new places myself, I'm just curious where Melissa eats. Where do you eat at?
Where
We can stalk you.
Five Monkeys is a bar, but they have really good wings.
Pretty good food there.
I love wings, yeah. And you can even get Rob sauce there on the wings. It's a local guy. He also got an Arty, I think, for his barbecue sauce.
Really?
Yeah, and you can order it. The wings there with the Rob sauce on them, and it's so good.
Yeah.
He makes it himself, and it's amazing.
You mentioned the ballpark. Are you a jazz fan at all? With the jazz season starting up here?
Not really.
Not really.
I like the U.
You like the U. I was just thinking this the other day. I've lived in Utah. I moved to Utah, I was about 15, 16 years old. I've never been to a jazz game.
Really?
Yeah, I've lived here for...
They're really fun. They are really
so I gotta
fun.
this year I told myself I got to go to a jazz game at least one time.
Yeah.
I love going to Bees games, and
The Bees
but
games.
I love baseball.
Yeah.
I'm a baseball nut.
Yeah.
To me that's summertime and love baseball. So anyways, anything else you want to add? How can people, find you online or you're on Twitter and Facebook?
I sure am. Melissa Merlot on Facebook. Well, Melissa Cobra Merlot.
Melissa Cobra.
On Facebook and Melissa Merlot on Twitter. I do have melissamerlot.com, which has a link to Awkward Hour and my conspiracy theory podcast.
And there's videos on there too. I was taking a peek
I wear
around.
a cat mask to protect my identity. But I'll tell you guys all right now, it's really me under the cat mask.
Have you had any stalkers ever?
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
That is one thing I'm searching for is a stalker.
Seeking stalker.
Yeah,
You'll get played. What makes you think you don't already have some?
I hope so.
You've been doing this for what, a year?
It's over a year. Over a year.
You have stalkers.
Oh man, I wish I knew about them. But then I guess they wouldn't be stalkers or.
Yeah.
So
They'll reveal themselves, I'm sure.
So yeah, I'll get all I'll get all your links on the show notes for the podcast so people can follow you.
Yeah.
And follow you on Twitter. You're an active tweeter. So
I am an active tweeter,
which is good. I hate people on Twitter that don't tweet.
It's fun to tweet.
Yeah.
You can just tweet away.
What do you like better, Twitter or Facebook?
I like Twitter because I feel like I can just kind of throw anything out there.
Yeah.
And it's all funny. And Facebook, there's a lot of people on Facebook who know me, like personally, like family members and stuff, who are like, what does that mean? Is that a joke?
They try to analyze everything. I was like,
you're saying. It's a joke. Sometimes I do that. Ha, comedian.
Yeah.
So.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Melissa, for sitting down. And
I am honored to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right, that's going to do it for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. Many thanks goes out to Melissa for coming on this episode of the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to that. I'd love to know what you guys thought by giving the voicemail a call, 385-202-5926. Let me know what you thought of this episode or any of the other episodes of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. Again, the website, iamsaltlake.com, got all the links right up there for Twitter and Facebook, as well as iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Mediocre Radio Network. Connect with me. If you want to be a guest on the show, drop me an email. Let me know what you're all about, and I'd love to possibly bring you on a future episode. So until then, get out and enjoy Salt Lake City, and I'll talk to you guys again on Monday. You guys have a great day.